In this video, we are going to discuss a new concept which is probability. We'll understand what is the meaning of probability, meaning of experiment, event, outcome, sample space and sample point, meaning of the term equally likely, and most importantly, you will be able to calculate the probability of given events. Let us first try to understand the meanings of the word. First word which I have taken up is experiment, a repeatable procedure with a set of possible results. So whatever we are trying to do, if we are tossing a coin, if we are throwing a dice, then this is called an experiment. Even taking out a card from a pack of cards is also an experiment. Event, one or more outcome. So if I have to get an even number, I have to get head or tail, that is an event. Outcome, possible results of the experiment. So it can be any possible event, it can be any possible result. Sample space, all the possible outcomes. हम जितने भी outcomes possible है अगर वो सब लिखते हैं तो this is called sample space. Sample point is just one of them. So let me write one sample space. If I toss a coin, then what are the possible outcomes? The possible outcomes are head or tail. If I toss two coins, then what are possible outcomes? हो सकता है दोनों coins पे heads आ जाए, या फिर एक coin पे head एक पे tail. हो सकता है first पे tail second पे head, and हो सकता है दोनों पे tail आ जाए. So this is how you can write all the possible outcomes, and this all the possible outcomes, this is all known as sample space. Sample space. Now this tossing a coin, tossing of two coins, this is an experiment. Now what is event? One or more outcome. Head का आना, tail का आना is an event. What is possible outcome? Head आ सकता है, tail आ सकता है. So now we know what is sample space. Sample space is something which is list of all the possible outcomes. अब इसके अलावा कोई भी आंसर इस पर्टिकुलर एक्सपेरिमेंट का नहीं है, जो कुछ है वो यही है, right? There is one more term which is very frequently used here, and that is equally likely. Now what do you mean by equally likely? Equally likely means होने के chances equal हैं. If I toss a coin, all of you know that either head can come or tail can come. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता head आने के ज़्यादा chances है, tail आने के कम chances है. लेकिन suppose if I make a spin, ऐसा वाला गेम बनाते हैं जिसमें मैं 1 3 बारी लिखती हूँ, यहाँ 2 यहाँ 3, और फिर मैं इसके अंदर एक एरो बना देती हूँ, ठीक है. नाउ इफ़ आई रोटेट दिस, व्हाट विल हैपन? अब ये जो एरो है हमारा, दिस कैन कम एनीवेयर. 1 पे आ सकता है, 1 पे, 2 पे, 3 पे. नाउ कैन आई से दैट 1 2 एंड 3 आर इक्वली लाइकली हियर? नो, बिकॉज 1 के आने के चांसेस बहुत ज़्यादा है अदर देन 2 एंड 3, बिकॉज 2 एंड 3 रिपीट नहीं हो रहा बट 1 रिपीट हो रहा है. दैट मीन्स इट इज़ नॉट इक्वली लाइकली. दिस इज़ नॉट इक्वली लाइकली. इक्वली लाइकली कहने का मतलब है सब चीज़ों के चांसेस बराबर हैं. सपोज इफ़ आई मेक इट 1 2 3 4, नाउ एवरी इवेंट, either number 1 can come, 2 can come, 3 can come, 4 can come. Every event has chances of happening and they are equally likely. So this is what I mean by equally likely. Now the next what we are discussing is probability. What is the formula for probability? How to calculate it numerically or mathematically? Mathematically it is a fraction. It is number of favorable outcomes upon total number of possible outcomes. Now what was total number of possible outcomes? This was sample space. So the number of favorable outcomes will always be there from the sample space. Why? The reason is we cannot have something which is not there in the sample space. Supposingly if I say that I have thrown a dice, ठीक है, what is the outcomes? 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. The possible outcomes are 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. Now suppose if I ask you what is the probability, so we'll write P bracket even number. So this is how you should write probability, P bracket even number. And how do I read it? This is probability of even numbers. Now we have to choose the even numbers. The even numbers are 2 4 and 6. So if somebody asks me what are favorable outcomes, the favorable outcomes are 2 4 and 6. So how many outcomes are there? There are 3 outcomes. And what are total possible outcomes? The total possible outcomes are 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now the probability of even number. The probability of even number will be equal to favorable outcomes. कितने हैं favorable outcomes? Favorable outcomes हैं 3. And upon में total number of possible outcomes, that is your sample space, and that is equal to 6. So this is equal to 1 by 2. Now this is how you should always solve the question. Now suppose if somebody asks you probability of smallest prime number. Smallest prime number. Now which is the smallest prime number? 2 is the smallest prime number. So 2 means the smallest prime number is 2. So if I ask you about the favorable outcomes, what are the favorable outcomes? There is only one outcome, 2. So the probability is 1, because how many favorable outcomes are there? 1. And how many are the total number of outcomes? 6. So it is 6. This is how you are supposed to solve the question. Whenever we have to solve the question, we have to find out the favorable outcomes and then the total possible outcomes. सबसे पहले we have to find out the total possible outcomes. Now let me conclude with something here, that how can we proceed further. Now in the same question, my question is, what is the probability of any number which is greater than 6? So now favorable upon में total. Now what are favorable? Favorable है number greater than 6 होना चाहिए. Greater than 6 तो कोई number ही नहीं है, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 है. So there are no numbers. तो इसका मतलब कोई भी number नहीं है, तो I can write 0. ऐसा कभी भी possible नहीं. And what is the total? The total is 6. So the answer is 0. Now if somebody says probability of a number which is less than equal to 6, number which is less than equal to 6. So number which is less than equal to 6, तो हमारे 6 के 6 numbers हैं. So how many favorable outcomes are there? Favorable outcomes, how many are there? There are 6 cases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. That means how many are there? 6. So favorable are 6, total are 6. So 6 by 6, the answer is 1. And hence I can say that the probability, the minimum probability is 0 and maximum probability is 1. Please listen to me carefully. What I am telling you here is minimum probability is equal to 0 and maximum probability is 1. That means the probability of the event always lie in between 0 to 1. It can never be negative. How can I say it can never be negative? Because this is a fraction of favorable outcomes upon total outcomes. Favorable outcomes कहाँ से आते हैं? Total possible outcomes से आते हैं. अगर total possible outcomes minimum कितने हो सकते हैं favorable possible? 0. 0 से कम favorable हो ही नहीं सकता. So 0 upon में total number. Total चाहे 36 हो, total चाहे 50 हो, total चाहे 100 हो. The answer will be 0 upon something. So the answer is 0. And what about the maximum? क्या फेवरेबल आउटकम्स कभी भी सैम्पल स्पेस के नंबर को एक्सीड कर सकते हैं? कभी नहीं कर सकते. सो फेवरेबल आउटकम्स कैन मैक्सिमम बी इक्वल टू द सैम्पल स्पेस. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा किसके इक्वल होंगे? सैम्पल स्पेस के इक्वल होंगे. एंड हेंस the maximum probability is 1. So minimum is 0, maximum is 1. In between it can be any number, right?